Hello, everyone. Welcome to Generation Dan, the podcast with three comedians, all from a different generation, as we talk about whatever the hell we want to. This episode is brought to you by cover letters, the most redundant thing in the universe. Cover letters. When you don't want to look 3 inches down at the resume. I'm Atlas Novak.
I'm Nick Fernandez.
And I'm Dino the Genetic Marvel. Welcome, everyone.
Yeah.
Cover letters. How is it not just begging? Cover letters.
Yeah.
I think we have something with that, and I really think that it can set the tone for our conversations quite well, gentlemen.
Yeah, especially if, we have a different person introduce the show every week, and then they...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we'll just rotate. And then
The product's the hook. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really... I like it.
Yeah,
let's start doing that.
Works for me.
So,
For those of you that have listened to the previous episodes, welcome to our first running bit.
Oh, no, second running bit. The first one is Generations! That one.
Oh, right. I forgot about that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
So, somebody's job hunting out of the three of us, apparently?
Ma'am, I might be. Yeah. I'm at a point in my current job where I'm like, so what are my exits? And because there's only so many decisions you could see get made with like zero logic behind them and rationale, and be like, do I see a future here?
What do you mean, like the boss making decisions where you're like, bitch, you just made that up?
Well, you were saying a bunch of people have left from different departments, right, Nick?
Yeah, and then decisions being made at like the CEO executive level. Like there's basically like an absentee CEO, and doesn't like and so like you don't see him or like interact with him day to day, like, or at all. And then like he kind of like decisions kind of come down, and then like my boss basically like gets them, and then like has to like hand them, like delegate them out, and you'll just get shit, and you'll be like, what? What?
Yeah, okay, let's unpack a little bit of that information. Okay, so I worked for a national bank for 15 years, and I love how nonchalantly, like, I was mostly client facing in my career, but I love how Nick just nonchalantly is like, there's an absentee CEO, he doesn't come and check in on me all the time.
It's a startup level organization, so it's like
it doesn't matter.
They should
be. Makes no difference.
I know, like a lot of what he said could both apply to every office job in the universe and also is incredibly specific. Somehow it's both.
Yeah. Well, the feeling of it is I guess ubiquitous, but like the specific situation is kind of specific to startup level organizations, where it's like because they can make, like, at the size of my company, that like they can make like drastic decisions quickly, right? Yeah. But we're also at a size where the bureaucracy takes a long time.
Well,
right. So like once a decision is made,
your mobility very quickly in business, right?
Yeah.
Because there's, especially in something that's profitable, there's going to be laws. You have to be right on top of that. So will have to adjust very quickly. But bureaucracy is it's like a cancer. Bureaucracy just slowly grows and it never shrinks back down. If anything, it just continuously mounts and mounts and mounts, and you have to follow stupid rules that make no absolute sense.
So, what is chemotherapy? A workers' revolution?
It's, you know what?
Or and then by that logic, surgery is taking them out back and shooting them.
Well, that's pretty much.
Well, I guess surgery would be removing an entire department, whereas chemotherapy is selective firing.
Yeah, that sounds. Yeah, but like the person doing the firing is doing it with like behind their back, like
with no real like. They're like, you got rid of them too? Like, they were great.
Yeah, just like real chemotherapy. Sometimes it takes things you wanted to keep. Yeah,
you lose Jared because he was the toenail of the situation.
Yeah.
Like, we lost a toenail.
It's just
a casualty of war process. Yeah.
You lose Jared because he's a toenail, but then you lose Beth, and Beth was awesome. She made the best coffee, and now she's gone.
Beth was the eyebrow.
Not that
Really,
women
we
is
lost the eyebrow.
coffee in the workplace. Let's be very clear about that.
There's a like. So the place I work at it's multiple different offices. So you have like multiple people. Not everyone's going to be in the same office like for a whole week at a time, and there is this one person who made the best coffee in the universe once, and I still cannot figure out who it is. And I've been looking. Yeah. And every other, like, break room coffee pot thing that I've had since then has been garbage, and I don't know who it is. For all I know, they've quit or been fired. But somewhere out there is somebody who made the golden cup of coffee. And I will...
Wow.
You know what?
Maybe it's like a traveling shaman thing where, like, it's a homeless guy that just, like, all he does, he's like, yeah, I live outside. Yeah, I have my afflictions, but every day... I pick an office, and I dress really well, and in my one shirt, and I walk in and I make the best cup of coffee ever.
And 6 to 8 people that have those cups of coffee their lives will be changed forever,
and they will be wondering who it is, or even worse.
What a great moment! Like the son of a bitch.
Yeah,
I get that.
Yeah,
fuck.
Or it could be the like. It's an eye doctor's office. There are all these patients. Most of them can't really see all that well. What if it's just the thing where someone was looking for the bathroom? They end up in the break room. And they're like, well, since I'm here, I might as well make some coffee. And they were the ones who did it. There's a possibility of that.
It's some person has this delicious urine that they've added to coffee randomly. And
he ruined
could change the world. I love it. No, it's great.
I like that you went with urine, and in my head I went like, well, maybe the blind have incredible weighing abilities in their hands. Like they were able to just like, no, this is the exact right amount. Like they just know the exact, because like really, how would you measure when you're? I guess you would have to do the finger. Like you're always looking for the flat top on whatever you're measuring, right? Are there many famous blind bakers? Like
no.
Do they make a lot of cakes?
You know what? There are a bunch of Instagram and TikTok channels of blind people explaining how they do stuff, like how they pick their clothes in the middle.
That's interesting.
Yeah, they have like they'll have codes sewn into it, and they have like a little scanner, and it'll read out what it says and stuff like that. It's pretty cool stuff.
Oh.
But so maybe they do.
What you're telling me is you can't be blind and poor. Like all systems sound very expensive.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Expensive to upkeep. Like basically, what you're telling me is every time they get a piece of clothing, underwear, undershirt, whatever, towel, they have to take it to a tailor, like to get the thing sewn in.
Process. It might just be like a sticker that you put on the label. I don't know, but
or they more likely you can buy them with the label already attached or something.
Probably.
Yeah.
Wow. What would you name a blind clothing company?
A blind
exclusively for the blind. Blinds to go. Sorry. Okay, I got it.
But blinds to go. Well, that just sounds like curtains, right?
It's literally a story.
Fantastic. That's so horrible. Oh God.
It's literally a story. Canada. Blinds to go.ca.
Let's see.
The
vision gap.
That's horrible. That is. Oh, listen. Besides, listen.
Blindingdales.
Blind.
I don't see you coming up with any.
No,
I'm basking it. Don't be critical. I'm just enjoying your.
No, it's not you. It's him, because he looks like thoroughly unsatisfied with me. He's like,
because that's so bad. I believe the term is punch it down. That's just okay. And as well, Blinds to Go is definitely a delivery service. Okay, that's like, come on, let's be honest. That's. Oh God. Yeah, you know what? Well, hey, best of luck on the interview. I am dreading the point that I decide that comedy. If comedy doesn't work, then I have to go back to a regular job because, man,
Is it your worst nightmare? My worst nightmare is ending up as just the funny guy in the office. Like
Yeah.
that is my he's real funny. He's real funny. You get a couple beers in him. It's a great time. Like, oh my god. I dread.
Yeah, that's my Bogart from the Harry Potter universe, like the thing that turns into your worst fear when you look at it.
Yeah,
definitely like the funny guy at the office.
Doesn't make it a good thing.
Thank you guys. Well, back in 2019, I actually filmed a set in front of an audience.
Oh.
It's on. You remember YouTube? You remember it was on YouTube. It was on YouTube. Yeah.
God forbid somebody's watching this on YouTube and then they're like, "Yeah, I remember YouTube."
Yeah.
It's horrible. Oh, no, it's, you know what? Like, that's the thing is, like, the more and more comedy you do, the more and more every interaction you see if it can be applied to a bit, to a setup, to, a punchline. And that's the thing is, like, working in a serious workplace, I'm like, I never took work seriously. And it was a high stress job, but I'm like, yeah, I don't get stressed out. Why? Because it's just a job. I don't get, like, I was making other people money. I got paid decently, but I knew what part I had to play. Like, I was just a worker, right?
Yeah.
So, which is weird because I had accreditation. It was important stuff, but
work to live, not live to work.
Well, that's it, right? And that's the biggest thing is that, like, why would you invest so much in your day job when ultimately it's just serving a purpose, right? Like,
I don't care about you.
No, of course not. Are you kidding? No. Anyone whose company thinks that they give a shit, listen, go spit in a woman's face and see how fast you get fired, and they could give a shit. Okay, not woman. I mean, like, anyone, right? Like, but do something inappropriate, you're done. That's it. Nobody gives a shit. People care about the bottom line and an image that is completely fictitious. Like, this month, it's Pride Month. Every company has put up a thing. Great. The rest of the year, they could give a shit. And I think that's bullshit, right? But that's ultimately what it all is.
Performative wokeness, right?
Yeah. One of my favorite things I've seen for the, like, oh, we're doing Pride Month because money, is I was in the pharmacy today, and I saw a pack of Skittles.
Yes.
Okay. And the Skittles had a little window so you could see inside, and all the Skittles were white. And it said, "We're all under one rainbow." And I was like, what the fuck? You were already at Rainbow. You didn't have to do anything. You were just like, hey, look, we're Skittles.
You had to add words. Instead, you made a see-through package, which I'm sure is killing something.
Yeah.
Or is carcinogenic to humans.
Yeah.
And then you take away all the color. Like, what a shit move.
But... Not just a shit move. That's like actively shooting yourself in the foot.
Yeah.
We're all under one. It's so fucking stupid.
And how big is this rainbow? Does it charge taxes? What's, like, that doesn't even make sense.
Yeah.
Come on.
It's like the kind of thing where, like, those startups that try to solve a problem that didn't need to be solved, you were like, you had it. Just leave it.
Yeah. Yeah. My company is losing people on other teams, and their solution to fix that team was to make everyone a director.
Oh, no.
So everyone's now a director of something.
So basically what you're
you
saying
get a
is...
director title. You get a director title.
When everyone's super, no one is.
Nobody's super. Why do you launch yourself into the syndrome comparisons? Like, I had forgotten about it.
And then you said, I was like,
syndrome!
Yeah.
I'm steering into the skid. That's what I'm doing.
And the first time you brought it up, you looked so bummed. I was like, I'm not even going to run with this bit. Like, it looks like it really bums me. And you bring it up. You're like...
is that a little fire? It's almost out. Let me get some gas. Let's just put that on there. And...
Let me throw some newspaper on this. Really smother it. Like...
Isn't that basically what comedy is? It was getting bullied as a kid, and they were calling you names, and you're like, you know what? That made for a good bit.
Yeah.
Think of it.
Yeah.
So
not at the time, but much later, you're like, hey, I can use that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're in an argument with someone, and they say something really cutting, and you're like, ouch. I mean, great line, but ouch. And then you take it for later.
Do you ever like have people like try and get you to do stuff you hate or whatever because they're like, oh, it'll make for a good bit. You're like,
Nick does that. Nick does that
yeah.
to me multiple times. All the time he'll do that to me.
Either that or like one time I left my wallet at home and I was freaking out because, I might have lost my wallet. So I texted my girlfriend who was at home at the time, and I was like, hey, did I leave my wallet on my dresser? And then she goes, is this a bit? And I was like, motherfucker, I'm trying to find out if I need to, like, cancel my credit cards and shit. This isn't a who's on first thing. Where the fuck is my wallet?
Is she a comic as well, or no?
No, she's not.
Oh, thank Christ. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I get it. Yeah. That's, you know what? That's you're dead on with that, because as soon as you try and be serious, people are like, oh, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Okay? Which, number one, means that they think you're very, very creative and you're funny, which is a compliment.
Yeah.
But at the same time, listen, we just have to have a real conversation.
Yeah.
Guy, I would fucking lose my shit if I thought I lost my wallet.
Look, we need to hire a plumber. I don't know why you think I'm kidding. There's shit on the floor.
Like, in the office, like, because I can't remember if I told you, but like the first day I was at this job, like my boss just like introduced me to the company and was like, careful what you say around him. He does comedy sometimes.
There we go.
Like, motherfucker.
Hell.
You're not supposed to do that.
Motherfucker.
Nope.
I told one person in the interview because they seemed cool.
Yeah.
And we were talking shit. And then I was just like, and then like when people like anything mildly amusing happens, like they have trouble opening a milk jug, and you're just like, righty tighty lefty loosey, and they go, ha, don't use this in your act. I'm like, what the, go fuck yourself. Like
worse when they're like, hey, you should make this a bit. Yeah, that'd be fun.
Yeah,
hilarious. We're all funny people, and you're like, no, you're not. It's just.
Whenever somebody does that, it immediately kills any chance of it becoming a bit.
Yeah.
The only people I trust to pitch me bits are friends who I've had for a long enough amount of time, or family who has like seen me enough times where they know how I work and stuff. And they're not doing it all the time. They're just like, this happened to me today. And then
I do miss like coming up with bits for other comedians. That was what I really enjoyed about like being at shows, and like the bad part is like you have to suffer through this shit, people. But the good part is like when you see people who are like, I mean, you're not great, but like you have some good shit, and I see you getting better. Like, and you see them go up, and then I love like oh, that's a really good bit, and then you think of a tag or whatever. Like that's the stuff that I'm looking forward to getting back to, is like, gets you through the depressives that are doing therapy on stage.
Yeah.
Well, I forget who it was. They were a substitute teacher or something, and they got on stage and they were like middle of the pack. They weren't exceptionally funny, but the premise that they kept on bringing up were so good, and they just fizzled. Like they didn't have a good enough punch. Like it just wasn't.
They didn't have a dismount.
Yeah, and it was just like, oh my god, that's so infuriating. I've done the same where Nick, I was like, hey, come here. Hey, have you thought of changing this? And they're like, oh, that's great. I'm like, yeah, I know. Why didn't you do that? Because it's not like they're dumb or anything. They're still like, cause there's a process. You have to learn how you want to be funny, right?
Yeah.
And that's figuring out how to structure things, and also being able to really critique if something laughed because it was perfect, or they laughed because it's almost there, Yeah. Because sometimes you do a bit and people just go, ooh. And you're okay.
Well, because a lot of people, when they first start out, like they'll have a couple funny jokes, and the rest are just like something they obviously find funny, but like they have not figured out how to explain why it's funny. Like you might have a decent premise, but like the big realization I came to is like they're not in your head. Like you need to bring them along the train of thought and the journey that got you from A to B. And in a comedian's brain, like you jump from A to B with like you jump basically from A to Z. Like you go all the way through.
Canadians.
And you skip all the. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. I know what you're gonna do. Shut the fuck up. You go all the way through, and skip all of the intermediate steps, right? Because that's your brain works quick and you get right to the funny part. But like you need to explain.
You just freeze.
Go
Yeah,
through those.
Oh, there you go.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect time to freeze. Yeah.
Yeah. There's also this also was something that I had to learn the hard way starting out was like taking my notes for writing the joke out. I would write like bullet points, and like I went back and looked at some of my notebooks from when I first started out, and it's like, what the fuck was I thinking? And now I have
no connection between the bullets. It's like cat pajamas, Barack Obama. Like, like where was the intermediate step?
Yeah, it's like it's the equivalent of a corpse decomposing and the sinew and the muscle fading away and all that's left are the bones, and you're like, fuck.
I guess this is where the tibia attaches. Like, I mean, I assume.
Yeah.
Is this a tibia?
They were obviously next to each other, so it had to count for something. And just like, so I learned the hard way a few years back that you have to, like, at the very least have, even if it's just kind of like half sentences or something, just something that gets you through everything. So
yeah. I always like to add like because I usually think of like a bit and then I'll think of like how would I get into it? Like how would I introduce this idea? And then it's usually like blank. It's like one sentence that just kind of like gets you into the thought. And then I just put that down because I found that like in addition to the idea of what the punchline and the main premise is, like the introduction kind of like gets me back into the frame of mind that I was initially in when I thought of that stupid giggle. Yeah.
The stupid giggle.
That's all they are, man.
So
they're little fucking.
I think he froze up again. Fuck. Or I did.
That's all they start as, and
there
then
we
you
go.
get Atlas to put some newspaper on top of it,
and then it sets on fire again,
and then we're back to Syndrome.
Yeah, back to Syndrome. What's so what jobs are you?
That's not the name of your first album.
No,
right? Not Back to Syndrome, but oh my god.
But Back to Syndrome is a great band name. Holy shit!
Yeah, or an album, or like just a band's album name is good.
Yeah.
Too. So what's the whole deal with job hunting? How's that going for you?
Well, it's not so much a job hunting as it is just nepotism.
Go on.
I have 2 jobs that I'm like in the interview process with, and both of them I was just like I asked like 2 people and then I got in an interview. Like one of them's like my cousin works for the company, and the other one a buddy works for, and you like.
At least in the what?
I'm very honest about the fact like, hey, I got hooks, man. Yeah. I'll use them. Yeah.
Well, at least in the case of the friend one, that's just having connections. That's not really nepotism. For the cousin one, sure, but.
Well, I had this conversation like with my roommate the other day about like is it nepotism, and we looked it up, and nepotism is preferential treatment based on a personal relationship, family or friend. So I assume it initially started with nephews based on the name because the origin word is nipote in Italian.
Oh.
And
number one, Italian isn't a base language. It's either Latin or Greek, you cunt. So. Well,
it
that's a
It
fact.
had a Latin root, but it got popularized in the aristocracy of Italy.
Oh, he's mad.
He's
mad.
You know why? Because he started talking about shit I know he doesn't know about, just pretending on his big words that he's like, oh, well, big word, you should listen to me. The fuck I should! Listen.
This is...
Hey, Atlas.
If this turns out to be an ongoing...
Out here playing checkers. I'm out here playing chess. I looked up all of this information when I had this conversation the other day, and I pretended that I was making it up just to bait you.
Only an Italian would see round pieces and think I was playing chess when I was actually playing backgammon. So, listen, kind sir, just take Take it and go.
This is going to be the weirdest running gag where it's just you guys arguing over, I guess,
Me
sounding
knowing
smart.
things.
Yeah, him knowing things. Fucking know-it-all. Or,
Yeah.
yeah.
But
So,
listen, we can all agree that Nick is definitely a know-it-all, and he's a thesaurus guy. He always looks for what's the more complex word that I could bring to the table that will perfectly describe. Listen, and you know what? There is a definite benefit to knowing certain words to describe an entire situation. This is the very thing. But when Nick delivers it, you're like, you douchebag. 100%, right? Let's just be honest.
I'm somewhere in between.
Yeah!
I'm somewhere in between you two because, like, I have a bachelor's in creative writing. This is kind of what you're supposed to do, and not English, by the way. Creative writing. UC Riverside was like, we offer it as its own major because fuck you. Not sure why.
Yeah, it's gonna be doubly unemployable.
Yeah, exactly. And what's ironic is like my job, I definitely got it through nepotism, which which begs the question: what's the line between connections
I'm going to say that
and nepotism?
90% of positions are filled through nepotism.
Oh, of course.
Listen, but this is the problem. So there's a thing I believe there's a term that could be applicable here, simony, which is more so of a non-familial relation where it's just, oh, it's my buddy, you get vouched for. In all honesty, this is so my the way I got my first and my current wife both ways is the friendly referral. Oh, have you met this person? That's it. I've set up friends the same way. You know why? Because online dating is a fucking nightmare.
Yeah.
Meeting people at work, that's got failure written all over it.
Yeah.
And are you kidding? If you meet someone at work, have a bad day, and then go home together, you'll see what hell is like. Because it literally will not stop. You have no break. It's very difficult to work as well as be in a romantic relationship, period, right? That's why I'm like, listen, the idea of a warm referral, I loved, like growing up, we would always go out as a group of friends, and some people would just get along well with others, and slowly things, but there's no commitment. Listen, let me get to know you in a group situation, have some weird things happen, let's see how you enjoy the night. Are you a grumpy Gus? Like, what's the problem, right? Or
can we just put a pin in grumpy Gus for later? Continue.
Damn it, I couldn't think of anything else, and I'm like, shit, he's gonna totally get me on that. But yeah, that's why it's like I know the first job that I got at the bank was because a close friend of mine brought in my resume. So I still had to go through the process of applying online and everything like that. But he brought in the resume, which got me the interview. But the fact was I had accreditation that the other two applicants didn't have. And that's what
right.
Right? And that's why.
But in the modern era, like before nepotism, like in probably like, 20 years ago or whatever, nepotism was literally like, this is my son, hire him. And they got hired, right? But nowadays, nepotism is just, you get your resume to the top of the pile. That's all that happens, right? You cut through the chatter and you're guaranteed to get an interview, basically, and that it's just that you get a chance, which is great, because nowadays, like that, just trying to get your resume seen is because there's a lot of there's an abundance of qualifying questions that they ask in the initial application, and if you answer them honestly and you don't fit the check boxes that they set out for the recruitment process, HR is not even going to pass you along, right?
Yeah.
Even if the hiring manager would have seen your resume and been like, I mean, they don't have the 3 years experience that's required, but like, look at all these 3 other things they've done. But it's not something that they would have thought of before they saw your resume, right? Yeah. So you're not able to get that benefit of the doubt. All that a hook really gets you is like, read my resume.
Which, like,
all I need.
In some cases, it's an algorithm going through, and sometimes HR won't even see it at all. It'll just be like
100%.
Automatically deleted.
My sister works in HR, and like literally, like if they say you need to have 3 years experience and you select 1 to 2, you're done. Like, don't even bother answering the rest of the questions.
Well, and that's the other thing is the fact that so many people are not truthful on their resume either.
Yeah.
Right? And that's like, listen, I'll be honest with you, there was a lot of times where I had friends give my number as their supervisor or manager,
Yeah.
which was like, yeah, technically I was, but not really, right?
Yeah.
And the fact was, because I sound competent,
I
just
don't
said,
see that as lying. I don't see that as lying at all. Like, if you have a really shitty boss and you're like, I don't want to use them as a reference, but you have a more senior person on your team that actually, they're the one that actually trained you and actually showed you everything. Your boss is just the shithead that yelled at you or like was like a bad leader. But this is the guy that actually like taught you everything. Like, I would much rather put that person.
I don't know. I
Sorry,
definitely would be okay being the like Vandelay Industries. Like,
Yeah.
I don't give a shit.
Vanderlei, I love that reference. You know, Atlas, let's just take a second. Before we go back to Grumpy Gus, let's just say, like, what a great episode, the Vanderlei, and then it ends up, there's an Art Vanderlei at the end. That was a great piece of television.
And you want to be my latex salesman.
Listen, the fact
he's
is...
he's in plastics, latex. He sells latex, import, export.
Listen, the thing is, I would put. This is why I know that I was destined for something like performance art. Okay, because I wouldn't just be like, oh yeah, I was their manager. I would have a whole like premise with the idea that it's like, oh yeah, I've been expecting this call. He said he was applying. Yeah. What do you want to know? And I would act like the happy but not happy manager who's losing a good person, but is glad to see them grow. Kind of bullshit. Like really bull. Like I would lay it on. I had a whole character, man. It was bad.
Man. Is there anything worse than when you try and do a bit with someone and they're just like, ha, yeah. Anyways, and they just like they don't even engage. They don't see that you lobbed up a softball for them to be like, oh, hit it back. Come on, we're supposed to. You do it, then I do, and then we find the game and we go on. And then like when you're just like, oh, you're no fun. You're not a fun person. Like I don't know how people end up like you don't have to be hilarious like, but how do you end up in a relationship where their person's not fun? I don't understand that. Like, especially when you're seeing, like, you have a friend that you like, and you're like, you're a good time. Like, really? Her? Like, you want to spend time with that? Like, is she different when she's not around us? Is she more like? Can she understand a joke? Like, can she laugh along with the group? Like, I'm confused. Needless to say, she's got to have great talents in other departments. I don't know. I don't understand.
That is a horrible mindset to have. It's like, well, she probably sucks dick good, and that's why he's with her. No, guy, what the fuck's wrong with you? You cannot say that about somebody.
Maybe she could fall the fuck out of a fitted
Everyone listening to this knows
maybe she can just fall the fuck out of a fitted sheet. You with your grumpy Gus mind.
It bothers.
You decided to make this a vulgar conversation.
People with my name in Greek will go by the name Gus, and it drives me crazy because it makes no sense. But there's that.
Is it like a Richard Dick type situation?
Yeah. It's super frustrating for me because I'm like, no.
I'm surprised that people with your name don't go by Dick, because that would just be so applicable.
No, we prefer Dino, that we are large and scary.
Hi, I'm Dicky Dino, and today's mood is cranky with the side of Psycho. Like,
the fact is, for anyone listening, that is on my shirt. Okay, it's not just he wasn't that creative. Okay, he knows how to.
Reading is hard though.
Great guys! If you're doing the Dino gets mad drinking game, you can add on literacy. He is upset by literacy.
That is correct. I should
just start keeping an Excel spreadsheet about things that Nick has said that have pissed off Dino.
It would be such an interesting Venn diagram. Like I think you should end up with like one of those. If we have a website for the podcast, just have like one of those have you ever seen like those mind map things where you just
Oh,
put in
yeah.
words with different frequencies, like, and the number of frequencies it comes up, the bigger the word gets.
Yeah.
Like, we should just run that and have an ongoing one. It's be
For
like,
those
wow,
listening,
wow.
what Nick is
Weirdly,
describing
it's
is
Targaryen.
a
Every
diagram
time he says
done by-
Targaryen, Dino blows a fucking gasket.
Yeah, you know what's fun? When two people talk
yeah.
over each other at the same time,
that's
so you
good.
can't hear either one.
Yeah.
Works
Yeah,
great.
Yeah. I have feedback from my mic to my my headset, so when I talk, it kind of drowns you guys out. So I don't even hear anything. I don't hear any of it. I don't know if it's a setting I need to change, but I kind of like it.
God, I'm with
I'm
Dino
bored.
on this one. That was so punchable. Like, holy shit. I will reach through the internet and clobber you on the face wherever in Canada you are. As my state goes into fire season. Yay!
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So during fire season,
Mm-hmm.
do sales of marshmallows go up?
No. Because usually fire season isn't in a pleasant barbecue pit on a
Yeah.
campground somewhere.
It's
It's
talking about like forest destruction.
I
not-
understand. I was with that all the way. I was
Yeah,
with that
but,
all the way.
like,
I'm just
no.
wondering. I'm wondering if there's a perverse, like, people get like a perverse, like, I mean, it smells like a bonfire. Like you smell barbecue, you want to make ribs.
no.
Point of order. Let's be honest. It's L.A. Everyone is a goddamn degenerate there. We all know this. The movies have told us this.
It's
Okay.
true.
I don't think the perverseness comes down to s'mores. Okay.
Yeah, like,
You're that.
it's mostly the perverseness comes from, we hear about a fire, we check the map. Is it immediately within our vicinity? We don't care. Like, hope the firefighters figure
That
it
doesn't
out.
sound perverse. That just sounds American.
It is very American.
That's what that sounds like.
Human.
A lack of empathy for your fellow person.
Well, you know what? I think converse to like most opinions, like I think we need more of that. I
What?
think we need more selfishness in terms of like large issues. Like people get all in with big issues, but like why don't you tidy up your own house first? Why don't we do that? Why don't we do that? Do a little spring cleaning on ourselves before we try to fix other people.
I believe
anyone-
that's what Jordan Peterson is into, and Jordan Peterson is fucking awful. So no, not going with that.
If
Sorry.
anyone was
I
on the
haven't-
fence about Nick up until now,
Yeah.
yes, now you know he's a horrible human being.
Yeah.
Just to be very
I don't
clear.
know. I just don't. I'm not a fan of watching the news.
Listen, you're not wrong. People should be handling it, but that's not being selfish. In fact, them having their own house in order before they venture out is actually more community based and creating a familial unit, right? Like, and this is the thing is that's not against a husband, wife, 2.5 kids in a house and all that kind of stuff. No. It doesn't matter what the components of our family are. That has nothing to do with it. What happens is the fact is being able to actually think about it. How often in your life, okay, have you felt comfortable to say, you know what, I need something, I'm gonna ask my neighbor? That doesn't happen anymore.
It really doesn't.
That really didn't happen when I was a kid.
Really? That was
That
already
always-
on its way out, or
Yeah, definitely. Listen, remember, so when I was really young, that was when things started to get like people started doing weird shit. Like then there were school shootings, stuff like weird stuff was starting to happen. It didn't happen often, but it was often enough.
Distrust
that
was on the
everyone
rise.
started to pull back from community life and knowing your neighbors and all that. Like that was slowly just getting stripped away, right? So that's been in the works for a long time. But that's you're absolutely right, Nick, in that people should be handling their own shit first. But the way you delivered it made you sound like a dick.
that is true. And
I
like,
don't know. I like inflammatory statements.
Like-
It's fun.
it's interesting seeing that, like, how different people deal with it. Like, my mom's in her late 60s. She knows all her neighbors. It's not like, like gabbing over the fence or anything, but just they know each other's names. They know they have each other's phone numbers. They can knock on the door if they need something. And like, just that's completely different to someone like my dad, who is only a year older than my mom, and where he lives in a different suburban area, he only knows one of his neighbors, and the rest of them, he's like, they're all fucking nut jobs. I'm like, you live in a neighborhood called Mount Olympus. Really? I'm not even kidding, by the way. That's
Zeus is a fucking dick.
Yeah.
What do you want to know?
yeah.
What do you want to know?
That's true.
No,
Yeah.
it's
And his wife? Ugh.
it's this like
But listen, I think on the point that you had actually made a while ago was like just how making big life-changing decisions. Sometimes you're just like, you know what? I just don't want the drama. I just don't want a life like that. So it's like, the way it sounds is just that your dad has seen some of those neighbors and be like, I don't need to know that person. Fuck that person. Like, right? And but the thing is, like, you get it, right? Like, can you imagine, like, finding out, like, your neighbor 3 doors down that you said hey to every morning turns out to be a serial killer? You'd be like, fuck. Because you start second guessing your own ability to tell if there's danger around. Like, there's a lot of issues, right? Like, we're being groomed on a grand scale to not trust the people around us, right?
Yeah.
Like, how dare you not wear your mask? Like, it's just everybody fucking relax.
And then
right?
at the same time in school, we're like, we're going to do team building exercises. And you're like,
oh,
yeah.
That's okay. Listen,
I'm not sure if there's anything that has made me hate humanity more
Than team building, which
than
also
team building
predominant in office
exercises.
culture. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think let's break the ice. Everyone, let's go around, say your name, your favorite movie, and
one interesting thing
the best
about
place
you.
you've traveled. The best place you've traveled, and then you have to watch someone go. Oh, so hi, I'm Steve, and my favorite movie. Oh gosh, man, pick one. I have to pick one.
And they're like not even first. They're like the third person of go. They've had time to prepare, and God.
Oh, yeah,
Gosh, I guess dangerous. No.
Yeah. And then whenever they pick, it's the most like middle of the road movie that should have been like.
It's gonna have to be Marley and Me. It's gonna have to be Marley and Me. That's got to be my favorite.
Or even worse is like
Traveled. Edwards Gardens. It's got to be Edwards Gardens. It's just beautiful in spring.
Or like the person one ahead of you took your answer.
Oh, yeah, that's Do you tell the truth during those exercises though? I don't.
No, I kind of.
You always pick something weird. So
what I like to do is,
and you see if people clue into the fact that you're fucking with them, and then you see the people that are like, oh, they understand immediately, and then you're like, those are my friends.
Yeah.
All right.
I would actually lie and like I would whisper to somebody, be like, hey, doesn't that person like to hunt? And I'll purposefully tell that to somebody who's like crazy vegetarian or vegan, and I'm like, I think that guy hunts, doesn't he? And that guy, every time that's happened, like, this is the advantage of being my size. I call you out. That sucks for you.
Yeah.
Nothing you can do about it. What are you gonna beat me up? Nope, that's not gonna happen. I have the head of a cinder block. I've called them up like, well, you like to hunt. Have you ever been hunting? And I'll just pretend I don't know that person's like crazy vegetarian or like save the planet. And you're and then just the conversation that ensues, I'll just be like, well, that was some good team building there, boss. Nah, go fuck yourself. Yeah. I'm fun to work with unless you're not fun to work with. Because if you're not fun to work with, you're dead.
When it comes to like committing like social arson.
Social arson. Awesome.
That's accurate.
What? Just the kind of like the Mean Girls thing.
Are you the type to like light the match, drop it, and then walk away, or do you like to stay and watch it burn?
Oh, I gotta watch it burn.
You gotta watch. But okay, so you
purposefully smile and laugh the whole time?
What type of arsonist are you? So are you on the opposite corner, kitty corner, just staring up at the flames, or are you like are you the arsonist firefighter where like you start the flame and then you come in and you're triaging on both sides? You're like, ooh, that's a 2nd degree burn. Let's put some ointment on that. Well, I don't know if he keeps the first. Why don't you ask him?
I like to say that I'm a curator of the arson, so I will make sure that it follows the laid out path that I'm assuming can encourage the most interaction from people. So that I will, but at the same time,
to go out, you'll come back with like, to use our earlier point, a little bit of newspaper.
Well, you know what? I'll flip a coin. I'm gonna start a very small some embers going, but it's up to them. Like I
bit of hay.
like to be left blameless in this situation, so I'll just start it. Sometimes they take the bait, most times they do. But if they adamantly don't, then I'll just well, maybe next time we'll see what happens. But yeah, no, and I'll just sit there and just go, well, that doesn't make sense because when you catch a vegan person that you're like, wait, hold on, but didn't you have pizza the other day at the office party? And they're like, what? I'm like, yeah, we all had pizza. That was a vegan. I thought you said well, now I'm confused, and I'm like, I just don't understand it. I have learned to have a.
I don't think there's anything better than a defensive vegan.
Oh.
I mean, I'm like 90% of the time. It's just like, I have a few drinks and then Shake Shack starts to look really good. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you.
Sure.
Yeah.
My like stance on veganism is if it worked the way it did in Scott Pilgrim, I'd be more into it. I think.
Are you kidding me? Learning how to fly, becoming invisible. I do a bit about that. Like it's like an 8th level vegan. He can just turn invisible magically.
Yeah, if you got telekinesis and flight and stuff from not eating.
What's an 8th level vegan? You only sustain yourself through photosynthesis.
I think.
Like what is?
I don't know.
No, you have that's where you only walk in bare feet, and if anything, you use just dirt on your face. Mm-hmm. That's what I would assume, something like that.
Right. Yeah. And yet, weirdly, doesn't smell that bad. Doesn't smell
good. No.
They
don't. Yeah, it's a pungent smell, but it's not disgusting.
It's not bad.
It's just like
it's not good, but it's not. It's not like I could survive it. Yeah.
Doesn't quite burn the nostrils, just ignites them a little bit. Just like a strong.
It's not the homeless rancid piss smell, like the.
So gross.
Disgusting.
It's just the smell of the subway, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Oh god. No, I don't. That's the thing is, working the idea that I've seen this post a few times where people are like, guy, nobody people are like, oh, people are getting pissed that they don't want to go back to work, and it's like, guy, nobody wanted to work in the first place.
Yeah.
The whole idea about it is ridiculous, right? And that's been going on since I remember. I forget who it was. I think I mentioned it before. Was in the 1900s, a philanthropist, a rich guy, was like, the idea that everyone should have a job is insane. Like now you're getting artist is not a job. Like no. There should be people who don't have a normal job. That's part of an entire society. You need people who focus on the arts, people who entertain, people none of it. We've gone so backwards with everything, right? That it's no, you have to have a job. Well, I don't want a fucking job.
Yeah.
Right. I don't like the idea of. I honestly, if you said, hey, you're gonna be a street performer, okay, but am I good? Yeah. Okay, let's do it. That's the thing is it's still a contribution to society, right? On a grand scale, I think. So the idea that everyone's
OnlyFans.
Listen, I'm trying to work on a bit about this, but that OnlyFans has started doing cooking channels, right?
Really?
Yeah. It's
watch DJ Khaled cook a salad, and you're like,
no.
There's so much wrong with that, but yeah.
God damn it.
Yeah. It was only a matter of time.
So basically, it's
anyone too extreme for Patreon is just moving over to OnlyFans. It's not. It's mostly porn, but it's not just.
It should be porn though. It's the people who are into porn being like, they are bringing this smut into our community. These people cooking food.
I think it's the equivalent of when they run ads for regular shit on Pornhub. It's oh, Downey, really? Downey is advertising on Pornhub because the side ads.
Yeah, I feel like if they were gonna do that, they should at least put a porn slant on it. Downey, the quicker picker upper for cum. It's not hard.
I mean, it's an app. It's an app. Yeah. I guess you would want absorbency if you were using a disposable. I'm an advocate for just washing a towel. Yeah. But
I think I should start a comedy OnlyFans. I think it's a great idea.
Oh my god, yeah. I carefully unwrap my calves. Wearing those dad pants with the zipper at the knee, the convertible cargo shorts.
Dude,
Yeah.
those were. I wish those
I had
were more
two
of a
pairs
thing.
of them. They were the fucking shit. They were so
Yeah.
great. Because if you were going to a place where it's like it's hot during the
Yeah.
day, but it's gonna get
little
cold
air
at
conditioning.
night.
Zip zip.
Yeah, or if you know you're gonna be outside and there's gonna be a bonfire and you're worried about mosquitoes, you're like other people are going like, can I go change in your bathroom? Like, I'm gonna change right here. Zzz!
Yeah.
And you're just like, I'm chilling. You don't have to leave the conversation. You can still hold court, tell a story while changing. Zzz!
But the problem is that they also like look dorky while you're doing that.
Super dorky.
It's like the
It's only
glasses
because
with
we
the flip up
decided they were
sunglasses.
dorky, right?
No,
lenses.
they're dorky. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
flick sunglasses. Same.
Yeah, like
Listen.
sunglasses. Those kind of sunglasses work fine. They do their intended job, but you look like a total like I want to give you a swirly, you know.
Yeah.
And I got swirlied.
Ah!
I don't know if you guys have ever ironically worn a fanny pack, but it's a slippery slope. It's a slippery slope because you
Like when I was
you
7.
put it on and you're like, this is wildly convenient.
Yeah.
Like, this is way too convenient.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
That's
Like,
yeah.
it's just like, oh, I like having pockets. I have stuff in my pockets. Oh, now I have more pockets.
Yeah, but have you ever stuffed a fanny pack so much that it rips open? Trust me. That's the last time you'll use a fanny pack. Just
Yeah.
Dino, I don't
like-
think you have
I
to
like
call
that
your
it's
shorts a
accepted.
fanny pack. We know you rip through them regularly.
I have a hole in my shorts right now that's pissed me off, and I'm like, I gotta sew that. Fuck. Yeah,
Did it?
So, it's definitely
But can
fair.
you see the hole? Anyways, but I like that fanny
Yeah.
packs are socially acceptable on vacation.
Yeah.
When people are traveling, all of a sudden it's like, well, you got to have somewhere to put your passport. Like it's just that's the only difference really between like going on vacation and being at home. You're carrying the same shit around basically. Like the one addition is the passport.
Well, there's that, and then like you're usually in a bathing suit. Bathing suits, if they have pockets, are like these big wide things that like mostly just exist to trap sand in, and that's it.
Right.
You know, and then for women, there's nothing at all. So yeah,
That's what makes it great.
Did your family do the same thing where your mom, when you would travel, like she would have her travel purse, which is just a bottomless abyss of anything that you could possibly need?
Yes.
Hey, Mom, do you have bug spray, polysporin, gravel, and a game to keep us occupied on the bus ride between places?
and she's
then
like,
she would just pull it out.
and
like,
she's
"We're
like, not
playing
just
Uno."
that, I have Pepto-Bismol, my passport, and the sword of Godric Gryffindor. You're like, what the fuck? You're just all that stuff. They kept it in the purse. I'm on a Harry
Don't
Potter kick this
worry,
week. Can you
Don't
tell?
worry,
Yeah,
we're not
it's so-
chasing Horcruxes.
Yeah.
It is so unnecessary. Yeah, that was the joke that you tell because you love it and you don't give a shit about anyone else.
Exactly.
I get it.
Oh my god. I guess here's to the fanny pack, huh?
Yeah.
I don't know.
We do so much,
Yeah,
and we give you so little.
pretty much.
It's
This
so
episode has been
fucking-
sponsored by Fanny Packs.
Yeah. The end of
Pockets
this
over
episode
fashion.
is brought to you by
Fashion.
Fanny Packs. Fanny Packs, the front of your waist for some reason.
That's-
Fanny Packs, what I wish my love handles could do.
Yeah.
Oh.
I wish fat worked like it did in SpongeBob, where
Exactly,
Patrick
man.
just like shoves
I-
it down to his feet. You know?
Dude, I literally had that bit. I have that bit that like I don't mind my love handles
Yeah.
if they could have a purpose. Like if we could get some sort of like body modification where I could have pockets in my and just be like, oh, I can keep a granola bar, emergency 20, you know, like a phone charger, like that would be fucking amazing. Like, and I'd be like, I don't mind it. Like if as long as it had a purpose. Right now, it's just like, okay, hey, I have my second worst ass
Yeah.
just sitting above my existing ass.
Let's be honest though. If you have a love handles, you're not putting a granola bar in there. You're putting a slice of pizza. You got those love handles for a reason.
Wait, have you seen that though? Where it's like goes over the neck and it's a triangle that holds pizza?
Yeah.
No, never
Yeah.
seen that.
Oh,
The
God.
pizza to go. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. But
That's,
I'm in
that
this
is late
spot
night
where-
infomercials, baby. That's where you
Yeah.
see that shit.
Last thing I bought off of there was a slap chop, which has been admittedly pretty helpful.
It's a decent product.
Yeah.
If you don't have good knife skills, I'd recommend it.
Yeah, I really
Listen,
don't.
I'm just gonna say slap chop is no sham wow. Okay,
That's
like
true.
sham wow. That's what we're talking about. Slap chop, you have to have a good surface, and you have to have the hitting power for
The
slap
torque,
chop.
yeah.
Yeah, sham wow.
Pump heel strike.
Any moron could do it. I remember my one buddy, his wife was doing a project for some course she was doing, and she started making ShamWow insoles because it just absorbs everything. And I'm like, shit, that's actually genius.
ShamWow insoles for your shoes? Oh, like for your sweat. Oh,
yeah.
Smart.
And older and too, like it actually just soaks up everything. And the thing is, like, okay, once they stop working, just fucking throw it out and cut out another one.
Yeah.
It's quite genius.
Oh. Here's the ShamWow.
I've never been a huge fan of the ShamWow, but I haven't really thought about it as much as you. But maybe I'm just being a grumpy Gus.
Listen, you motherfucker, I'm gonna cut you next time. Just the face, just boom, bam. No, this is yeah.
Please welcome to the stage, Dino, Grumpy Gus, the genetic marvel.
Dino, the generic Gus. No.
Generic Gus. Oh my god.
All right.
Dino, the genetic Gus.
Dino, the genetic Gus. All right. Thanks for listening to Generation Dan. Guys, where can they find you on the interwebs?
Well, Nick's laughing, so you can find me at Dino the Genetic Marvel on all social media. I even started a TikTok account because you people need some judgment in your lives, and I hope to bring that to the table. Because I'm not going to be dancing for you. I'm just going to be telling you how horrible of a person you are. But yeah, that's for me. And what about you there, you laughing cow bastard?
You can find me on Instagram at Nick Fernandez Comedy. If your TikTok handle is not Gino the Grumpy Gus, I have no fucking idea what you're doing with your life. That is the funniest shit I've.
I might have to use it, and that makes me even more angry.
Yeah.
Okay. That's just.
Oh my god.
You can find me at Atlas Novak, Twitter, Instagram, or follow my other show at Nexus at Night in the same places. So yeah, thanks everybody for listening, and we'll see you next time.
Later.
Bye.
Ciao.